live in YouTube in just a moment. Tick, tock, tick, tock. Okay, Sal, we should be live. Headphones on, sir. I believe we are live, Sal. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Jason, and I'm ready to talk about crime.
Are you really? Wow. Okay.
I am.
Did you made it to the right show?
Yeah, and this is an exciting one.
Okay, just I gotta mute that. It's funny how that happens. It is super exciting. I'm very excited to jump in, and I believe we are ready to go. And action. Welcome to Just Curious Media. This is That's a Crime. I'm Jason Connell.
And I'm Sal Rodriguez.
All right, Sal, we are back for another crime.
I believe our first crime that we have the footage of it occurring. Yes,
I think you are right, sir. And listen, I know what you said to me last episode. I didn't forget it. You wanted something a little lighter.
Well,
after we covered a pretty dark subject last week
sure,
on our show, That's a Crime. Very dark, but worth listening to, watching, please.
Yeah.
We hope our fan enjoys it. I'm glad we covered it, but I'm with you. We kind of do this on this show. A little bit of this, a little too much of that. We zig, we zag, we cover everything from a misdemeanor to a murder. And this is also very unique because we have footage of the entire crime.
Yeah, that is pretty neat. And I just had a look at the video earlier. And by the way, I had seen this video before, only one of the angles. And you know what? This is action packed. It is exciting. Yeah. I mean, lives are on the line. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But you see like some skilled people at work, like you see professionals at work, you know?
I totally agree. And before I get into it, and even tell our fans for the name of the episode, if they do not already know,
yes,
a word from our sponsor. Support for That's a Crime is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below the waist grooming and offers precision engineered tools for your family jewels. Join over 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped. And with this exclusive offer, you'll get
20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code That's a Crime at manscaped.com.
Well done. And today we're breaking down the true crime story of the driver evades armored vehicle heist in 2021. And Sal, you'd seen this video before. This was new to me this week as I came across it, and I thought, wow, this is perfect. I was looking for something unique. We've never done this. And then I started watching all the subsequent videos because the original video, I highly recommend people look this up.
Yeah.
Over 40 million views. So this thing went viral.
Yeah.
And viral. And then there's side view, rear view, because to be also clear, it's a dash cam video of this incident that happens. So you're seeing the reactions in real time, the driver, the passenger, who we're going to break down, get into everything. But now there's other videos with the side view, the rear view. You can see the other cars coming up. And it's like, oh my gosh, I was just watching it with Sophia showing her. It's like, it's even more dramatic to see the cars, like the other footage, which you hadn't seen previously. And then to see interviews of the guys. It's like, this is incredible. So I didn't know. Well, obviously we don't talk about everything. So it's cool that you had seen it.
Yeah. But I'd only seen that.
Know much.
Yeah, only the main footage. I hadn't seen all the angles. I hadn't seen any interviews. I didn't know all the details, the behind the scenes.
Yes.
So yeah, this really brings it to life. But the video itself, that main video, over 40 million views, action packed and riveting. Because you are there in the car with these guys.
Totally. You know, when I saw it, it immediately reminded me of a scene from The Professional, the 1994 Luc Besson film, or Ronin, the 1998 John Frankenhauer film. And perhaps because the hero, or in this particular crime, the driver who evades the robbery, reminds me of actor Jean Reno, who is in both of those great films. There's just something about this guy that's like, wow, yeah, he looks the part, right? It's like, this is fake. Or this is, he's in training. He's got the bulletproof vest on. He's got the shape. He just looks like he's an action hero, Sal. And that's even before he goes into action.
Yeah. One of those guys you would want on your team. You want by your side when shit goes down. Yeah. You want him there.
Yeah. I'm behind that guy.
Yeah.
Well, let's give this guy a name. So, heroic armored vehicle driver Leo Prinsloo earned worldwide fame after dashboard footage of the failed heist went viral.
Nice, Jason. Failed heist.
Failed heist.
This guy is badass.
He is. He's totally badass. Now, 52-year-old Prinsloo is a former police sniper. Ooh, love that. 12-year veteran in the elite South African Police Special Task Force. During that time, Sal, he was part of many high-risk operations, including security detail for 2 U.S. presidents and the Queen of England. So this is clearly a guy you do not want to mess with.
Yeah, those famous words written by one of our heroes, Robert Mark Kamen, from what was that movie with Liam Neeson? Taken.
Yes.
This guy is like Liam Neeson's character from Taken. I have a particular set of skills.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, he reminds me of that normal everyday guy, but he's got this whole thing. It's like when Jason Bourne realizes he has all these, these traits that were put inside of him.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's what resonated off the screen for me. So here we are breaking it down. Now, Prinsloo is now a chief instructor for Fortis Proactive Defense Solutions, which focuses on firearm training. Again, Sal, total badass, as well as advanced driving courses, as their clients are in the cash and transit business or valuable asset transit business in South Africa. And although Prinsloo doesn't typically drive a vehicle, he was training a new crew member this particular day, Lloyd Mtambini. And on this day, Sal, it's too bad for the armed thieves that Prinsloo is at the wheel.
Yeah, too bad for them. And also kind of funny that for Prinsloo, he probably thought this was just going to be a basic training day. Let me train the new guy, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Here's how it works. We go over here. We do this. Yeah. Just a normal, not really mundane, because you are armed and you have, precious cargo, but still you're probably not expecting this. However, as we get into this, Sal, guy like this, always kind of expecting it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Be prepared.
Well, because you know why? If you watch the video, you can see leading up to the action, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Well, look at him.
Yeah, yes, he's looking. He's
around.
Always aware of what's going on. You're checking those side view mirrors. You got to see who's on your tail. You know what I really loved about this right off the bat? Okay, this took place in South Africa, right?
Yes.
Okay, open up a history book, anybody, if you want to learn about South Africa. This is a white guy and a black guy together, working together. Prinsloo is white. Mtambeni, black man. Yep. I love seeing these two guys together, especially in South Africa, knowing the history. A great shot, a fantastic footage.
Also, Mtambeni, to be clear, looks very young. Not that Prinsloo looks old, but it's also like, there's a good difference in age. So he's like training the young guy.
Yep.
And we'll get into it as well. Mtambeni is not as key of a role in this. However, for a guy 4 days on the job, also pretty cool, pretty calm and cool.
He did not
could you imagine
freak out.
being in that car going, what? Do I want this job? It's terrifying. I'm terrified.
I got to hand it to these guys that do stuff like this.
Unreal.
They're willing to literally put their lives on the line.
Yeah.
I got to hand it to them.
So on April 22nd, 2021, Prinsloo and Mtambeni were in a heavily armored Toyota Land Cruiser and were escorting millions of rand worth of mobile phones. Now, Sal, to give our audience a sense of how much a rand is worth, can you share with us how much 1 million rand is in US dollars?
In US dollars, 1 million rand is 90,000 US dollars.
Okay.
So rand is the South African dollar. Is that the deal?
Right. That's their currency. So you can kind of see it's almost, a tenth, not too far in that range. I'm sure it's sliding scale. It's always changing.
Sure.
But they have so they don't have cash in there. They have all these mobile phones, which is worth a lot. Right.
Yeah.
So same as money. They can sell it on the market, whatever. Now, due to the economic turmoil there has been a rapid rise in armed vehicle robberies in cash in transit, they're called CIT for short, vehicles in South Africa.
Wow.
So that's terrifying for anyone, as you were just saying, in this line of work, and perhaps good for Prinsloo's business.
Yeah, but again, who would want to take such a job? I hope they pay well. I really do, because you know what?
Let's hope.
When I traveled throughout the Middle East, and we had military escorts, they weren't military. These were a lot of former military who now contract, third-party contractors. They paid them pretty well. That was our understanding. We didn't know how much. They didn't tell us. But our understanding was that these contractors who are in charge of protecting us.
This is like movie Taken, because that's what they were.
Okay, you know what? These guys were making pretty good money. That's what we were told.
I would hope so, Sal. Good benefits, good pay, because, hey, it's dangerous. Now, as they drove along, it seemed like any other ordinary day until it wasn't. Out of nowhere, and we were just talking about this, watching Prinsloo, like knowing what we know, watching him, I'm nervous. Like, does he see something now? He's looking.
Yeah,
he's
it's
looking.
Suspenseful.
Is it now? Is it now? No, he doesn't see anything now. But out of nowhere, a black Audi pulls up and begins shooting at the vehicle. And when we say armored, it's bulletproof glass, because they're popping that window and it doesn't break, but it leaves a mark. Right? Like a big round mark. Like, how many could it sustain? Like the new Bond film, he's taking so many shots. It's like, I don't even know how much this can take.
Yeah.
That's they probably think that too. Like, that's a lot of shots. At some point, this bulletproof glass is going to give. So you can, I mean, you can even see that in the video. I'm scared when that's going to happen. So Prinsloo immediately goes into military mode and is cool, calm, and collected as Mtombeni goes, as he as well. They go on the offensive and begins to like ram the Audi. Again, you can't really tell on the main video. You've got to watch the subsequent videos, the subsequent angles. But he's starting to like ram the Audi and do things, because this is a bigger Land Rover, cruiser, not Land Rover, sorry. And it's a weapon, and he knows that. By the way, this particular vehicle doesn't have gun ports, because they tried to make a very low profile look. You don't want to like, hey, look at me, I'm a Brinks truck.
Sure.
You know, so they don't have that. They can't shoot. They're really safe inside, almost like this tank.
Yeah. But yeah, like you said, there's no ports. They cannot return fire. So you have to go defensive. But then meanwhile, I like how he begins to go offensive.
Exactly. Yeah. What are they going to do? Just keep driving and taking on shots? No, you've got to flip the script. You have to get control of the situation. But we should also mention, it's not just the black Audi. There is a second vehicle. This is a very well orchestrated thing in play. And we can't tell if it's a van, a truck, or an SUV, but it's a bigger white vehicle, not another Audi. And Sal, I even read, more about Prinsloo's interview and heard him speak, but he was saying the driver in the black Audi was also very skilled. It wasn't some novice, because he almost rams him off the road a couple of times, and that guy has his own skills. Wow. So it's like he's dealing with other professionals. It's just not, this is hair raising, if you will.
Well, it could be one of these instances where you have two former military. One goes to the dark side, one goes to the light.
Exactly.
Yeah. This could be, for all we know, one of his former troop members. Yeah. It could have been. It could have been. These are people. I mean, you don't just. I mean, you don't just watch YouTube videos and you're a skilled. You have these skills. You learn these somewhere.
Yeah. Well, we do. We think we have them because we've seen this.
I've seen a few YouTube videos.
So as things escalate, Prinsloo pulls a move out of the amazing car chase scene from To Live and Die in L.A., the classic 1985 William Friedkin film, and begins to drive into oncoming traffic.
Yeah.
To lose their tail, to kind of, do something unorthodox, unexpected. They're not expecting this car to fight back, to try to ram them, and then go to oncoming traffic. And you can see in those videos, like he's dodging cars. Some of those cars have people. Then he turns it back around, Sal. And it's again, like that movie. If you haven't seen that scene in a while, as he comes back around, he starts saying, they're going to shoot us. So I think some of the people in those two vehicles, because it's not just two drivers, there's like 6 passengers with AK-47s and they're getting out and like starting to.
Wow.
So he's coming back into fire to also throw them off. I mean, it's insane. I almost wish there was another video, not a dash cam or just someone else filming this thing.
Oh yeah. This isn't. This is intense. It's the main video. That's the 2 shot of them inside is almost 4 minutes, and it's absolutely intense. And then once you get into the other angles, it looks very much like a video game, but even better or worse because it's real.
Now, what would you have done in this type of situation?
Called in sick to work. That's
ahead of the curve. I like that.
Yeah. Here's the type of guy I am. I'm like behind the scenes. I can maybe map and plan. I can help strategize.
Okay.
And you guys get in and drive and come back later.
So Prinsloo's calling you, Sal, which direction should I go? And you're helping him getting back to base.
That's right. I'm helping him navigate as they're taking the fire.
Absolutely. You sent the drone out to capture this whole thing and then guide him. And I like that. that.
Yeah.
You got to have one of those guys. You got to have one of those guys.
I'll be there waiting for him when they return.
I'll tell you more about him signaling into his cohorts, his team in a minute. But
Yeah. That's right.
So when I watched other versions of the video, Sal, it includes those other shots, and it's really hard to see. I know the black Audi comes up and starts firing. I don't know what the big SUV or van is up to unless he's just there to clip them or just catch them by. Maybe they expect you to make a mistake, right? Sure. You come up and they take shots at you. Maybe your car can't even take the shots, right? Yeah. Boom, boom. You're dead. You're going to wreck. They're there to scoop and grab, right?
But hang on. Scoop and grab. If only, they're probably going to kill you.
No, I mean the merchandise, the goods. If it's scoop and grab the cash, you're done. They're taking you out. That's a given. Yeah. The way they come up, they're not asking questions.
No.
Hey, give us no, you're done. But I mean, the 2-car thing, it's maybe for people to grab and go. And also the bigger car can push that car off course.
Sure.
I mean, you're going 65, 70. Who knows how fast you're going? Someone knows if you know what you're doing, you can clip a car, send it into a spin, and that's that. So very interesting to see. But you do see Mtambini told by Prinsloo, they're talking real fast, but he hands him a phone, looks like an iPhone, could be an Android, I don't know. So Mtambini is trying to call the crew, where are they at, or call the authorities.
Sure.
But Sal, he wasn't able to reach anybody because they used signal scramblers.
Wow.
What the heck? That's next James Bond level. What?
Yeah. This is next level crime when you go with this much artillery, with guys willing to risk what they're. I mean, look what these guys are willing to do. I mean, this is next level crime.
Well, because you can't even pull over and say, take it. No, they're looking at you. You're in the way. You're an obstacle. No. There's no reasoning. There's no rational thinking.
Just give them what they want.
Yeah. Take have all that you want. It's worth millions of rands. Go crazy. But they're going to knock you out. So after this 2.5 minute heist, because I think the video is longer, but the heist itself, or at least that first video is 2.5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, because you have that suspense in the beginning where we see Prinsloo looking, and that's about a minute, I think.
Exactly. A little over. So you see, the shots of the AK-47s, and apparently 30 shots were fired, which it almost felt like more. 13 struck the vehicle.
Whoa.
That's pretty good odds, but at the same time, it can take 13 blows.
Wow.
However, the front right tire took a shot. Now that's not armored. It may be, what do you call it? Runs on a no flat, or it can take a hit, but it's also a tire. It's exposed. Sure. It's not a tank. It can't just keep going. I mean, I don't know, but so with that in mind and the heavy load, because it's also, this is full of a lot of mobile phones, hundreds and thousands, however many, heavy load, compromised tire, and not looking good for our dynamic duo at this point in time. Right.
Jason, I just realized how ironic this is, that they tried to reach their partners with a cell phone and they couldn't while they're transporting cell phones.
Hello.
Wow.
Yes.
Crazy.
So Prinsloo, he's becoming concerned about this, and he knows that they're in a very vulnerable position, right?
Yeah.
So He then attempts to ram push the Audi because they're off the freeway now. They're kind of, you can't really tell in the video, but now they're in this hotel parking lot. It's kind of, there's pedestrians about, according to his interview. And he's trying to then go up and push that Audi onto those spiked barriers that you see in parking garages, right?
Yeah,
so he figures
severe tire damage.
Exactly. He can flatten the tires, causing them to, get out and make a run for it.
Sure.
And as he's trying to do that, his own vehicle gets stuck on some concrete barriers of its own.
Wow.
And you see, like, you can tell, like, the car stops moving. He's kind of, and I saw footage, photos of the vehicle afterwards. You can kind of see where it was dented in front. And so then you see Prinsloo open the door, undo his seatbelt, get his rifle.
Yeah.
And his bulletproof vest, of course, is on. Grabs his AR-15 rifle. Wow. He is a sniper, Sal. And he exits the vehicle in full superhero mode. Unbelievable. And I even read that he's referred to as the Chuck Norris of South Africa.
Nice.
And that's because he's an expert shot.
Wow.
And never misses. Is what a friend or spokesperson said on the matter, on Prinsloo himself. This so much reminds me of not just those other movies I've already mentioned, but also Michael Mann's Heat, 1995, incredible film comes to mind, that glorious shootout. However, they also took out a Brinks truck in that movie.
Wow.
Did they kill
the driver?
That wasn't the plan, but one of their members went rogue. Oh, and then they had to, and that De Niro was not happy about it, but yeah, that happened. So it's a pretty dire situation, obviously very different, but this is the real life version of that.
Well, I'd like to know if the assailants, I mean, obviously in situations like this, there was some sort of tip off, some sort of inside job, maybe, but did they know who was driving that day?
Well, that's a good question. Or if once they figured it out, it's like, call it off. Let's try this. Let's try this another time. Yeah. This is Prinsloo we're talking about here. Well, apparently Prinsloo had seen the driver in the Audi run from the car. And that's when he decided to get out of the vehicle, get his rifle. So all the other people were out. He sees the driver exit, and he was going to go out there and like set his scope on that guy, but decided it was not a shootable target because it was in a public place. And the guy ran across the street, jumped in the car, and he was gone. So he got away. And Prinsloo's mad. He was ready to take revenge on these guys.
No, but this guy's pro. Jason, do you know the recent story? Pro. Recent story. Some guy goes nuts in a Burlington store, not too far from where I live. Heard it. All right. Okay. Guy goes nuts, starts attacking people in a Burlington store. Some people leave, some people hide. Cops arrive. They see the suspect. Yeah. They shoot him, not realizing that behind him is a dressing room where there is a customer in there seeking shelter.
No.
She is killed. So these guys go in there guns a-blazing, and look what happens. Look what this guy does. This guy's pro. Can he do some classes for the LAPD, please?
Yeah, you're right. I didn't know that story, and that's very sad to hear. I did not know that. But yeah, he probably said, not a good thing. Shots off. No shot. And meanwhile, like I quickly mentioned, but the six, so there's 2 drivers, there's 6 passengers. Both drivers get away. 6 passengers were on the highway, Sal, AK-47s in hand, and somehow grabbed rides and escaped. Now, I'm unclear on this. Were they other people in their party, or were they just commandeering vehicles, pointing these AK-47s and jumping in cars or taking that? Like what? That's a whole other thing.
No, you know what I thought about, Jason? I've considered this in relation to our current era, and I believe that the time has come for an Uber, but for getaway cars.
That's it. That's exact. Yeah, that's what he did in Drive. That great movie, by the way. He was a driver, and he's going to get you. He doesn't care. He doesn't ask what you do. Nice. He'll give you 5 minutes, and then you got to be there, right when you say you're going to be there, and he's going to get you out of danger.
I like
it. He wasn't an Uber driver, but he was a driver.
I like that. I'm going to check that out.
Yeah. Ryan Gosling, incredible film. So very crazy. So the pandemonium, here's the highway. Imagine just driving along one day, and then it's what's this black Audi? It's shooting at this car. And then that car, the Land Cruiser's coming at you. And then these AK-47 assailants are everywhere. Insane, Sal. But as for the cargo and our two heroes, Prinsloo and Mtambini, they're safe and sound. And it was the incredible driving and insight and just skill set of Prinsloo. And since this video footage went viral, he has been in high demand with countless interviews. As you can imagine, I hope sales are up for their business. You know, hey, these guys know how to help the cash and transit business. I even read, Sal, a sidebar to this, that once he got all this press, he got death threats.
Whoa.
And I don't know if it was
okay, because the assailants were never captured, right?
Never captured.
Oh,
so then he had to kind of go, and this is early on. I haven't heard this lately, but he was kind of in seclusion and hiding, right? Not so visible at the moment. But then this is last year, so I'm not sure where that stands. But I wrote down some things here for us to take a few of Prinsloo's words of wisdom from his interviews, because I think we could all learn from some of this. And why don't you take some of these?
Before we started the drive, I had a talk with my crew passenger, Lloyd, who only started with the company 4 days prior. I told him the courses of action that I planned to take if we got hit, like trying to ram them off the road. Our armored Toyota Land Rover was going to be both our weapon and our cover. And he continues, unfortunately, the criminals in our country are well informed, and both former and current police and military have been arrested in connection with the bad guys. The modus operandi for the jackers is to come from behind and open fire on the guards. No warning. They want to obstruct the windows and, if possible, take out the crew so that they can get the vehicle easily. They come ready to kill, and the justice system isn't any kind of deterrent. Whoa, that's heavy duty, man.
There's a lot to unpack there. First of all, he had Lloyd ready, Mtambini, that day, was already setting the stage for what could happen, the escape plan.
Yeah.
This guy is thorough, and damned if it didn't come true. And then, as you pointed out earlier, you've got ex-police, ex-military, switch sides. Mm-hmm. They know how the system works. They know they can get away with it, and they know they can knock these guys off. That's unbelievable, Sal.
Yeah, lots of corruption. Just like in Mexico, we've heard so many stories.
Sure.
You go to Mexico, they pull you over, give them cash, they let you go. I mean, that's just on the payola side, you know.
Exactly.
But otherwise, yeah, there's a lot of double agents working both sides. Yeah, of a lot of corruption.
And this is the last thing I wrote down that from his interviews, Prinsloo's interviews. He says, there's nothing that really can prepare you 100% for a situation like that. The first time I knew they were there was when the gunshots went off. Despite all the looking, Sal, he still didn't know until he really heard it.
Sure.
And felt it and saw it. Instinct kicks in. When we train people, we usually tell them to pre-visualize what they're going to do. It's a mindset. And that's pretty much what happened. I pre-visualized what I was going to do, and to the best of my ability, I did what my mind told me to do, and it worked out for me on that day. Wow. Very humble, but I love the mindset. I take this into sports, really. I mean, it's not as dangerous, obviously, but I do. I try to think about the outcome. How am I going to perform? What will I do in each situation? And honestly, it puts you in the space for success. Not always, but for the most part, yes. And I totally get it here. Just the stakes are higher. I mean, literally, you're working with a target on your back, and they're coming up. What's he say? Like, they're firing right away. Like, that's it. They're on you. Like, they're coming shooting. They're not coming in saying, "Hey, it's a stick up." That's not what happens here.
No. And I'm absolutely just curious if Tom Benny continued working, or was he like, that's it, new line of work for me?
You would think that, but he'd been trained on firearms. That was only his 4th day doing the transit stuff, but he was also in some of the interviews, and, you know, very soft-spoken, but if anything, maybe he's just more determined to do it. Again, I don't know. I didn't do a follow-up, but they were both in some of the interviews, and then Prince was obviously the hero here.
Yeah. Well, you know what? These guys are badass. Props and shout out to these guys, especially Prinsloo. Wow. Yeah. These are the guys you want on your team. These are the real badasses that they make the action heroes after. They pattern them after real life guys like this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's it. That covers the driver evades armed robbery attempt from 2021. Great episode. Hope you enjoyed it, Sal. You'd seen the video, but now you got the information from behind, all behind it, and learned all about Prinsloo and Mtambini. And highly recommend anyone and everyone to check out those videos. I mean, one's got 40 million, but now there's so many more than maybe when you saw it. Like, people have reenacted it. And I think there's even Prinsloo today reenacting the whole thing in one video. But
really?
I just watched the stuff that was fitting for our crime today, but lots there to unpack. And it was a lot of fun to cover.
Yeah, that was a good time. And yeah, those videos are a ride.
So unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped.
And get 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code thatsacrime at manscaped.com.
So thank you so much for listening. And please be sure to subscribe to That's a Crime podcast, as well as the That's a Crime YouTube live channel. You can also really help us by giving the show a 5-star rating on Apple Podcast.
And for all you listeners that enjoy sharing your thoughts, you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, send us a direct message, or post a comment on any That's a Crime social media platform.
We also highly recommend checking out our other podcast and visiting justcuriousmedia.com.